I think Tyler will do it.
I'll do it.
Tyler do it. He's probably got antibodies.
I'm a survivor,
anyway.
Benji.
Yeah, he's already had it. He's got antibodies. We're not talking about his venereal diseases. We're talking about actual COVID. He's a survivor there too. Ladies, he's a catch.
I've got the antibodies.
He can't catch anything. Right.
Have you really had it though? Did you really?
Yep. I got it. My symptoms started on July 7th, lasted about 2 days. Fever, like basically the list, sore throat, congestion. I had everything on the list, but they were all mild and they were all short-lived. Mm-hmm. It was, I lost smell, and that was like the trigger. I'm like, okay, I might actually have it, right? Is when I lost my sense of smell.
The thing is, in the morning, it felt like his normal hangover. So he was like, I'll just let it ride and see what happens. Then his foot fell asleep, and that's what made him go in. It's like weird. That's a new thing.
But yeah, no, it was easy and mild. So interesting fact. I did one of those mail-in tests for me to go back to my civilian flying job. And I fly corporate for people listening that aren't in the know. I had to have 2 consecutive negative tests to go back to fly.
Wow.
So at about 2 weeks in, I scheduled back-to-back tests each day, and they both came back positive. Cool. So even though I was, per the CDC guidelines, I was no longer contagious and I no longer had to quarantine, I was still showing positive. And then speaking with the health reps that call you after a positive test, they're like, yeah, it can be in your nose for 3 weeks. And at that 3-week point, I tested 2 consecutive times and they both popped negative. Interesting fact though, the 3 positive tests I took, and I confirmed this with the health department, is those each count is separate tests. So it's not one person had 3 positive tests. It's just 3 positive tests.
Right.
So these numbers are somewhat inflated,
But, and you know what? And that's what a lot of people are saying. You know, people are taking multiple tests. They're just standing in line. They take the test. They go right back to the end of the line. and do it all over again.
Where'd you take the test? Did the company pay for it?
So, TRICARE paid for it. I took my first test was a mail-in test because at the time I couldn't even get an appointment. They were just booking up before I could schedule them. So I got the mail-in test. It came in the mail in like 2 days. FedExed it out the same day, and I had the results like 3 days later. 2 weeks later, instead of doing the mail-in test, I did the CVS. So I just drove through CVS. I scheduled an appointment. Very simple. Had the results 2 to 3 days later each time.
Is that the one that jammed the long motherfucker up your nose? Or?
It was definitely longer than the mail-in one. The mail-in one is essentially just a Q-tip. The CVS one was a pointy little fucker. I was doing it myself. I didn't have a nurse jamming it up my nose, so I kind of minimized the pain as much as possible. It was more uncomfortable than painful.
Okay.
Well, I had my first test today, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
I had my second test yesterday. It was
really?
8 minutes long.
Did you have 8 minutes?
Yeah, this is at the company.
Oh, yeah.
Are they testing all of you guys? Is that what's going on?
It's voluntary, and you sign up, and you walk in, and you're in and out in 12 minutes.
Yeah, awesome. So I didn't do that. We can do that if you're going to like Hong Kong now requires it. You can't get into Hong Kong without a paper that says you have a negative test.
Let me correct my last statement. It's not all voluntary. Yeah, if you're going international, it may be mandatory, but on the domestic side, voluntary.
But I know I woke up this morning and I thought I had symptoms. So I had a low-grade fever, coughing, all that stuff. But I just came back from China like 2 days ago. So I was like, I need to get a test, right? Woke up and kind of freaked out. So like,
he's freaking out.
You live in Florida. The Chinese are like, wait, he lives in Florida. We need a test.
We need a test, right?
Exactly.
South Florida.
So speaking of that, I was reading an article today. For one of you guys, you have a base in Hong Kong, and it sounds like it's creating a lot of logistical hurdles for those guys, huh?
It is. And it is not a fun place to be right now, from what I understand.
Well, is it because of the COVID or the political issues that they're having over there?
It's a combination. It's a 1-2 punch. It's a combination of both. They're expecting that pace to go very junior here shortly, as guys are looking to come back and just not have to deal with it.
Yeah, I got a buddy that works there, and that was his thing, man. He loved it over there. Like, it was such a great base, and now he kind of says the same thing. It's not what it used to be.
Sure.
Yeah.
No one can really predict what's going to happen, but it's not a fun place to be right.